The past is a mirror to the future. Or so a friend once said to me. I did not believe it then. I do now. The past walks with us. Its face is the face of all those we have hated. All we have loved, all we have failed. They say that to be an agent of the Imperial Inquisition is to see the true horror of the universe and still have the will to prevail. As with all things, there is another face to the truth. I have looked on the terrors of the universe and cast them down. I have judged billions and forgiven some. I have known victory and touched defeat. And the lesson that all my years as an Inquisitor have taught me is that it is not enough to prevail. We have to endure the poison of history. We have to survive our own sins. My name is Gregor Eisenhorn, and these deeds were mine. Hunting the recidivist Murd in Eikloun, I came to hubris in the dormant of 240.M41, as the Imperial sidereal calendar has it. Dormant lasted 11 months of hubris's 29-month lunar year, and the only signs of life were the custodians patrolling the precincts of the hibernation tombs. Where are the tomb's custodians?
They are making their rounds.
Knowing we approach? Knowing we expect to meet them?
I will check.
I had heard of the bitter cold, and prayed to the Emperor that I would never feel it again.
How?
Stay back.
Processional 212 was a hibernation tomb at the west end of the Great Imperial Avenue. It housed 12,142 members of the hubris ruling elite. Be careful, Loris. You know how dangerous Eikloun is.
He's an animal. A dangerous one, but we'll put him down.
We have him cornered. That'll make him more of a threat than ever. Watch your back.
You too, Eisenhorn.
I admit I was excited, eager to close and conclude a business that had lasted 6 years. Eichlone had evaded me for 6 whole years. I studied his methods every day and dreamed of him every night. Now, I could smell him. In every direction, rows and rows of ice berths ranged down the smooth basalt chambers. It was like walking into the Imperium's grandest morgue. Their eyes were dark and unforthcoming, as though they had done this mindlessly, by order.
Eisenhorn! Eisenhorn! Eisenhorn!
All my life, I have had a reputation for being cold, unfeeling. I am not, but I possess a singular force of will. To feel pain, fear, or grief is a luxury I cannot afford. Throughout my career, it has served me well to steel myself against all that this wretched galaxy can throw at me. Loris Vibben had served with me for 5.5 years. In that period, she had saved my life twice. When I recruited her from the clan slums of Tornish, it was for her combat skills. But I came to value her for her sharp mind, soft wit, and clear head. I stared down at her body for a moment. I believe I may have uttered her name. I made a promise to myself. I would kill Eichlone with this gun. Eisenhorn? Gregor, is that you? You're dead, you know, Gregor. Dead like they all are. Step out and make it quick.
He was good, I'll give him that. My legs actually twitched, almost starting to walk me clear of cover into the open. Eichlon was infamous across a dozen settled systems for his mind powers and mesmeric tone. How else had he managed to get these dark-eyed fools to do his bidding? But I have similar skills, and I have honed them well. Show yourself first.
What makes you think you can catch me this time, Gregor? You've failed so many times before. Admit it, Gregor. You don't want to kill me. You want to join me.
The sleepers were waking. Their frigid bodies sore with hibernation sickness, trapped in their caskets with no one to aid them. I bid Betancourt alert the custodians. Apparently relief crews were on their way. But why? Why was Eichlon doing this?
Almost got you, Gregor.
You're only stretching this out, Eichlon.
Feeling cold, Eisenhorn? You'll join these corpses soon.
I hesitated. A merciful headshot would have spared her everything. But once awake, the hierarchy of hubris would not understand a mercy killing. Do you think me weak? Flawed? To set my duty before her suffering? I would gladly ignore one life in agony if I could save 100, 1,000 more. For I have the moral strength required of an Inquisitor. Mankind must suffer so that mankind can survive. It's that simple. But to this day, I still dream of the slow death to which I abandoned her. The screaming, the pounding. God, Emperor, help me, I will never forget that. Thousands of frantic souls waking up to face an agonizing death. The cryogenerators had come from the ships that first carried humans to this world. The tombs had been raised around them and kept operating for thousands of years.
Still.
This was where Eiklone's men had artificially triggered the revival process. A key component of this mysterious device had been removed.
Almost, Gregor.
Begone, heretic!
There's nowhere left to run, recidivist.
You cannot stop us, Inquisitor. Your Imperium's days are numbered.
Perhaps, but yours ends here.
I will make you scream like the girl did.
Back!
She begged us for mercy. I will make you scream like the girl did. I will make you scream like the girl did. She begged us for mercy, Gregor. Come join her. I will make you scream like the... She begged us for mercy, Gregor. I will make you scream like the... She begged us for mercy, Gregor. Come join her in hell. I will make you scream like the girl did.
Be still.
She begged us for mercy,
Be
Clegg.
gone, heretic.
Come and join her in hell. I will make you scream like the girl did.
Be still.
She begged us for mercy, Gregor. Come join her in hell.
Step back.
I will make you scream like the girl did. She begged us for mercy.
Be still.
I will make you scream like the girl did. She begged us for mercy, Gregor. Come join her in hell.
No more words, heretic. I punched the gun so hard into his mouth the trigger guard broke his lower teeth.
Most perturbatory.
Amos?
A codifier of unique design, similar in layout to the mind impulse units used by the hallowed Adeptus Mechanicus to govern the linkage between human brain and god machine. It may be illicit or stolen. The Adeptus Mechanicus would be most interested.
Either way, they're not going to know about it. This is inquisitorial evidence.
Quite so.
Where is this off-worlder, this Eisenhorn? Arrest him!
High Custodian.
You will be detained until...
No. I am an Inquisitor of the God Emperor of Mankind, Ordo Xenos. I will cooperate in any investigation, but you will not and cannot detain me. Do you understand?
An Inquisitor? Thousands are dead. This desecration, the highborn of hubris, violated by a
A murderer. A follower of darkness who now lies dead under a plastic sheet on the upper landing platform. I mourn the great loss hubris has suffered tonight. But if I had not been here at all to raise the alarm, who knows what catastrophe Eichlon may have wrought. Or even his overall ambition.
Eichlon, the recidivist? You must brief me on this entire event.
I shall prepare a report and bring it to you. I will have questions for you too, but you have plenty to deal with right now. We made our way out. Betancourt presented the junior custodians with a formal register of evidence to be stored for my inspection. The list included the casket and the bodies of Eichlon and his men. None would be tampered with or even searched until I had looked at them. Betancourt made these requirements abundantly clear. We took Vibben with us. It looked as though we may have had to remain on Hubris for a week. Maybe longer if Carpel proved difficult. But the investigation could not wait. As soon as I returned to the gun cutter, I went to see Loink, our astropath.
Master?
Contact the main Astropathicus enclave here on Hubris and request a full transcript of off-world traffic for the past 6 weeks. Also any record of unlicensed traffic, individuals using their own astropaths. Whatever they can make available. And a little threat that it's an Inquisitor requiring this data wouldn't hurt.
Will you be requiring an auto-seance?
Not yet, but I will eventually. I will give you time to prepare.
Master, is it true that the female Vibben is dead?
Yes, Loink.
Ah, I thought it was quiet.
The comment wasn't as callous as it sounded. Loris Vibben was a latent psyker. Whilst she was alive, I could hear the unconscious broadcasting of her young, eager mind. And yet my psychic abilities at the time were undeveloped compared to Loink's. Loink, although a young man, was already physically deteriorating from the demands of a psyker's life. He hadn't been with me long. My previous astropath had been killed trying to translate a warp cipher 6 weeks before. I spent an hour with Amos in his cramped data slate-filled room preparing a report for Carpel. I set out the basic details, reserving anything I felt he didn't need to know. I accounted for my actions. I made Amos check them against local law. In truth, I was bulletproof against local legislation, but I wanted to check anyway. An Amalathian prides himself on working with the structures of imperial society, not above or beyond them, or through them, as a mono-dominant might. I wanted Carpel and the senior officials of Hubris on my side, helping my investigation. Although exhausted, I could not sleep before paying one last visit to Vibben. Loris Vibben. Twice she saved my life. She saw herself as my aide and bodyguard, but in truth, she was more a companion and fellow warrior.
Get ready. Lift off for Sundome in 5.
For the first time in 6 years, I did not dream about Eiklono. I dreamt of something else. His blank eyes were empty. Not like Eiklono's drones, but vacant, like an immense, starless distance. I had no idea who he was. At that point...
Eisenhorn.
Touchdown! Destination reached. Ready to disembark.
Damn bright place.
They have 11 months of pitch dark, so they light their habitat to an excessive degree.
They don't get many visitors in this season. Most of the ships here are local, trans-atmospheric. I make 3 non-locals aside from us. 2 trader launches and a private cutter.
I'd like to know how that bastard Eichlon got here, and how he was intending to leave again.
I'll find out. What about Vibben?
Do you know what her wishes were? Did she want her remains sent back to Tornish for burial?
I don't know Eisenhorn. She never told me either.
Take a look through her effects. See if she left any testament or instructions. Can you do that?
I'd like to do that.
Amos had completed his report. Now it was time to face the locals. It was a short trip through the overbright streets to the custodial hall. The flowers?
From the hydroponic farms on East Dome 7.
Signifying?
Morning, same as the sashes. What happened last night is a major tragedy for this world. Yellow is their holy color. I believe the local religion is a solar belief.
The sun as emperor?
Common enough. Extreme here, for obvious reasons.
High Custodian.
They are all dead. All 12,142. Processional 212 is dead. None survived the trauma.
Hubris has my sincere sympathies, High Custodian.
Your sympathies? A great part of our ruling elite die in one night, and we have your sympathies to console us.
That is all I can offer, High Custodian.
Your arrogance astounds me, Off-Worlder. You bring this monster to our world, battle with him through our most sacred sanctums.
Wait. I came here to save you and deny Eiclon's plans. But for the efforts of myself and my companions, he might have destroyed more than one of your hibernation tombs. I broke none of your laws. I was careful to preserve your codes in pursuit of my work. What do you mean I brought this monster here?
We registered no off-world ship these past 20 days, except yours, Eisenhorn. Did you choose Hubris because it was a quiet place, where you might finish your feud undisturbed in the long dark?
Amos?
The supports are early Imperial Gothic in style, but...
Amos, the report. Read this, Corporal. Read it thoroughly. Or should I read it aloud to all here assembled? Should I explain how I came here at the last minute when I learned Eiclon was moving to Hubris? That I learned that only by astropathic decryption of a cipher message sent by Eiclon 2 months ago? A cipher that killed my astropath in his efforts to translate it?
Inquisitor,
And what about this? The evidence that Eiclon has been planning a move against your world for almost a year. And this, gathered last night. that an unregistered starship moved in and out of your orbit to deliver Eiklono 3 days ago, unnoticed by your planetary overwatch and the custodian guardians? You were wide open. He exploited you. Don't blame me for anything except being too late to stop him. As I said, you have my sincere condolences. And next time you choose to confront an Imperial Inquisitor, you may want to be more respectful. I'm excusing a lot, because I recognize the trauma and loss you have suffered. But my patience isn't limitless, unlike my authority. I expect your full cooperation as I extend my investigation.
But the matter is over.
I want your consent for me to continue, as well as your full cooperation. Eiklono may be dead, but he was just the blade point of a long and still dangerous weapon.
What are you talking about?
If he speaks again without me knowing who he is, I will throw him out of the window. And I won't open it first.
This is Chastener Fischig of the Adeptus Arbites. I wanted him present.
Chastener.
Inquisitor, my question stands.
Merdin Eiklono was a facilitator. A brilliant, devious man, one of the most dangerous I've ever hunted. He had no true allegiances. He worked to facilitate the grand schemes of others. What he was doing here on Hubris was to advance and develop someone else's plans. I must work back from Eiklono, his men, from any clue he left, and dig my way into whatever greater secret darkness was employing him.
And for this you want the cooperation of the people of Hubris?
The people, the authorities, you, everyone. This is the Emperor's work. Will you shrink from it?
No, sir, I will not.
Excellent.
I grant my authority. Conduct your work thoroughly and quickly. I ask 2 things in return.
And they are?
You report all findings to me, and you allow the Chastener to accompany you. Fischig has the authority of the Arbites. Consider him a local guide.
And your ears and eyes. I will be grateful for his assistance.
Where first?
They wanted blood, I realized. They wanted someone to punish for the deaths, or something to tell to the rest of the population when they woke to this disaster a few months later. I couldn't blame them.
Midas, prepare the combat simulator. We have a new crew member.
The combat simulator is ready.
Okay, Chastener Fischig. Let's see what you've got.
Had enough then? Round 2. Begin.
This would not be my weapon of choice, Inquisitor. Perhaps I could change.
Try changing your weapons before the next round. Use the terminal over there. Here we go.
Be gone, heretic.
Have a chambermaid's more. Not bad, chasing her. That's a mess you've made of my hold.
Master, I have scrutinized all of Eiklone's transmissions. They are all in cipher, and it will take some time yet for me to unlock them. But Brother Amos is...
The key is in the lag. During your struggle with the recidivist, he was sending and receiving to someone with a 12.5-minute delay. That's another system.
You're sure?
There are 3 worlds between 11 and 15 minutes lag from Hubris. Thracian, Primaris, Cobalt 2, and Gudrun.
Cobalt is no more than an Imperial watch station. Nothing there.
Thracian is no surprise. That's where we followed him from. But Gudrun? Gudrun's a primary trade world. Old culture, old families.
Old poisons.
Can we be more certain?
I'm sure I can break the cipher, Master. At least for the coded headers, if not the actual text. Given enough time...
Lowink, tell Gregor about the Hubris transmissions.
There were messages sent from Hubris to Eiklone's ship before he arrived. Not so heavily encrypted. They are rather vague and indirect, but they do discuss something called the Pontius.
The Pontius? Do you have a location?
Why else do you employ us? Thorview 12011, on the west side of the dome, the high rent quarter, Aristoturf.
You said we were meeting at 2.
I did, didn't I? Just about to come and find you as it happens. We're going to Thorview. The wealthiest Hubrites kept winter palaces on the west perimeter of the Sun Dome. According to Chasen Fishik, they enjoyed both light and dark, as if that was something indulgent. They looked inwards to the lit dome, and had shutters that could be opened to view the dark landscape of the winter desert. It was a spiritual thing, Amos suggested.
Wait! The area is lousy with laser traps.
Most perturbatory. They are triggered by proximity. We will need to pick our way through carefully. Gregor, you should be able to hack this door's security with the Auspex.
We need to find a more discreet way in. Perhaps we can find an entrance higher up.
Everything seems to be clear out here. Your scanners must be wrong. Either your scanner is wrong, or you're drunk.
An intruder!
Croats wasn't wrong. She's a beaut. Board, board, board.
Who's there?
Inquisition. Who's here? What's your name?
Lisa B.
Full name. I wasn't concentrating on her especially, but there was something about her. An air. A tone.
Elizabeth Beckwin. Pleasure girl. I worked the Sundome these past 4 dormants.
You're here why?
They paid up front. Wanted a party. Oh, lords.
Get dressed. Stay here. I will want to talk to you.
Hey, you, stop!
Be still!
The pleasure girl was right. There's more than a few of them down there. We should proceed with caution. Looks like a study. Inquisitor, we must surely find something revealing here. Simon Croats. That's not a name I know.
Stop playing games. Who's there?
Hey, you!
Patrol 2, are you there? Come in. I'm not taking any chances. Arm up, boys. Looks like we got ourselves some trouble.
Who's there? You've made a huge mistake.
Move closer through to the safe room. Don't let him. Step back. Someone's coming.
What are you doing? Get out!
I know some of these men. Those two are locals, low-grade laborers. Long list of petty convictions on both.
Hired muscle.
Seems to be your man's way. The others are off-worlders.
You found papers?
No, it's just a hunch. None of them have got any ID or markers, and I haven't found a cache anywhere.
What about this one?
I have rights.
You are in the custody of the Imperial Inquisition. You have no rights whatsoever. Your name?
I will not answer.
He had switched on some mental conditioning, no doubt taught by Eichlone. Mind tricks won't help you.
Go screw yourself.
Tell me your name.
Simon Croats.
Godwin Fishig.
Very well, Simon Croats. Where are you from?
Thracian Primaris.
What was your job there?
I was trade envoy for the bonded merchant guild of Synesius.
I knew the name. Guild Synesius was one of the largest mercantile companies in the sector and had links to the imperial nobility. And what work brought you to Hubris?
That same work. There is always trade to be had. Long-term contracts with the authorities on this world that require the personal touch.
And what brought you to these private apartments?
Number Wilk. a local trader. He invited me for a mid-dormant feast.
This dwelling is registered to Namba Wilk, a trader, as he says, no priors. I don't know him.
What about Eiclone?
I don't know any Eiclone.
There was a ring of truth to his voice. He may well not have known Eiclone by that name. There is an awful lot of your story that doesn't add up. You're found here consorting with recidivists who we can connect to a planetary conspiracy. There are charges of murder to be considered. We can continue this in far more intimate and comprehensive circumstances. Or you can make me like you by filling in some details now.
I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever you know. About the Pontius, perhaps? Damn it. He was dead. Eiclone had left fail-safes in the conditioning that would trigger at certain subjects. The Pontius evidently was one of those.
So we know nothing?
We know a great deal. Weren't you listening? For a start, we know the Pontius is the most precious secret they protect. The rooms were filling with the freezing wind from outside the dome. Had to escape or be entombed, slowly dying to the ice and cold. We're leaving. The charges were set off by the same spasm that killed Croats. I realized Fishik was now beginning to understand the resources and capabilities of the people we worked against. Their abominable crime at Processional 212 had demonstrated the scale of their malice, but he hadn't seen that firsthand. Arbeits squads moved into the dwelling and secured it while local Medicaid servitors patched our wounds. We returned to the gun cutter, taking Bequin with us, but little new information. Save that the bonded merchant guild of Synesius may be worth questioning, and that the Pontius was a name with fatal consequences.
It's a common enough name in this subsector. I've turned up over 500,000 citizens with that forename. Another 200,000 with it as a middle name, plus another 40 or 50,000 spelling variants.
What about the definite article?
I have over 9,000 marks with that connection.
Pontius Glor.
Not on my lists.
Because he's dead?
Because he's dead. But it sort of makes sense.
Pontius Glor. The seventh son of Oberon Glor. A wastrel dilettante who fell into heresy, becoming an abominable disciple of chaos. For 15 long years he wrought discord and evil before being slain by the great Absalon Angevin. Gudrun was the ancestral home of the Glors. He may be dead, but the name and the connection were too obvious to ignore. Midas, find us passage to Gudrun.
That girl, Beckwin, is waiting in your room.
The Arbeit say they will charge me with murder and conspiracy.
Sit down. I can make sure the charges are dropped. I have that authority.
Why would you do that? Even if you clear me, I can't carry on here. I'll be marked as trouble. I'll have to move on again.
You're not from Hubris?
No. I was born on Bonaventure. Got here by way of this and that. I've travelled a lot. Never stayed put for very long.
Because things get difficult.
That's right. I'd stuck it out here longer than anywhere. Now that's all screwed up.
Stand up.
Make your mind up.
I want to ask you some questions about the men who employed you at Thorview 12011. If you answer helpfully, I can cut you a deal.
What sort of deal?
I can take you to Gudrun, or I can offer you employment if you're interested.
Employment? Even big bad Inquisitors have needs, huh? That's fine.
You misunderstand. The services I have in mind will be new to you. Not the sort of work you're accustomed to.
You're an odd one, all right. Are all Inquisitors like you?
No. Once Fischig returned Eiklone's possessions to us from the custodians, Loink and I prepared to conduct an Autosеанс. I did not expect to glean much from the process, but it was one of the first techniques I'd learned as an Inquisitor, and it was possible that this close inspection of the psychic residues would reveal something to us.
Ready to begin whenever you are, Master.
I can feel the aftertaste of his death. Do not touch it. This has a thick, gelatinous aura. Loink, amplify me. Sumner. I hear Day Sumner as a barely audible whisper. It is cold. Colder than the ministrations of Dormant. Nothing but malice.
There was danger, vile danger, from the casket.
I felt it.
But the whole seance was unseemly, Master. As if distracted and spoiled by some factor.
I can explain. The girl we have aboard is an untouchable.
Keep her away from me.
Just prepping for takeoff. We'll be ready shortly.
And so we left the freezing world of hubris behind, taking Elizabeth and Fischig with us. Betancourt piloted the gun cutter up out of the atmosphere to the Essene awaiting above us in orbit. This vast bulk clipper was a trader, running cargoes of fine wine from Hesperus to Hubris. Tobias Maxilla, the ship's captain, had been recruited by Betancourt to get us to Gudrun in 2 weeks.
Tobias Maxilla, at your service.
You run this route regularly?
For the past few decades. It's seasonal. Sameta, Hesperus, Tracian, Hubris, Gudrun, sometimes to Messina too. When Dormant finishes on Hubris, there'll be a lot more work there.
So you know these routes well?
Yes, Chastener, I know them well.
I don't think we need to start interrogating Master Maxilla yet, Fischig.
It's a beautiful ship, Maxilla. Classic as old pattern, unless I'm mistaken. You are, of course, correct, Captain Betancourt. From the shipyards of Tancred, no less. Wait till you see the staterooms. I have quite the collection of beautiful artifacts. Even some portraits from the Samata school.
I must tell Amos, our savant. I'm sure he will be fascinated.
I will happily give him a tour once we are underway. One cannot pass up the opportunity of cultivated conversation. My entire crew is servitors, which makes them more reliable than pure flesh, but somewhat less loquacious.
Interesting. You don't trust humans?
Inquisitor! It is not a case of trust, simply one of dependability. The Immaterium does not forgive mistakes.
The Essene left Hubris later that day, executed the translation to the Empyrean effortlessly, and made best speed for Gudrun. Maxilla provided quarters for us all in his state apartments, but we spent most of our time on the cutter,
working. By the 5th day, my sleep patterns had begun to return to normal. Eichlon stalked my dreams once more, leaving the after image of his grinning face each time I woke. At least I assumed it was his face. We translated back into real space and entered the Gudrun system on the morning of the 8th day. Here, at the outreach of the system, we would pay our last respects to Loris Vibben. She had joined me in the first place to visit the stars, and that's where we would leave her.
Who was she?
A friend. A comrade.
Is this how she wanted to go?
I don't think she wanted to go at all. Bequin, there is something I have to tell you. I had been avoiding this conversation. She had no idea that she was an untouchable, a blank. Like all untouchables, her negative presence in the warp rendered her immune to psychic influence, which in turn made her a potent anti-psycho weapon. It also meant that she exuded an air of unpleasantness which rose to fear and revulsion in the psychically attuned. Her whole life had been shaped by this, and she had no idea. She did not take the news well. She knew now that her friendless, loveless existence was due to the fact that she was abnormal, and not surprisingly had little interest in the details of the job that I had in mind for her. In truth, I was relieved when Maxilla called me to the bridge.
Inquisitor?
Is there a problem?
I have performed legal maneuvers and entered the trade lane approach. All relevant data is in order and my tariffs are paid. But I've just been informed that we are to be boarded and inspected.
This is unusual?
It's been 10 years since anyone even suggested such a thing of my ship. I told you there was a founding festival underway. You can see considerable portions of Battlefleet Scarers on station. I think the military is being over-careful of its interests here just now. An inspection launch is on its way. I feel it would facilitate matters if they were met by a ship's master and an Imperial Inquisitor.
I'll agree to be present for the sake of order, provided you can assure me you have nothing to hide.
Inquisitor Eisenhorn,
Save your indignation for the inspection, Maxilla. Your assurance is all I require. If I assist you only to find you have some dirty secret or illicit cargo, you will have a great deal more to worry about than the Imperial Navy.
I have nothing to hide. I fancied you when I had become, if not friends, then decent acquaintances, at least this voyage. I have shown you hospitality, and freely given information into your confidence. I am hurt that you still suspect me.
Suspicion is my business, Maxilla. If I have wronged you, my apologies.
Nothing to hide.
Tobias Maxilla?
I am Maxilla.
You have been notified that an inspection of your vessel is due. Furnish me with crew lists and cargo manifests. Your full cooperation is expected.
You haven't yet identified yourself.
We're naval security.
You could be anybody. I am Gregor Eisenhorn, Imperial Inquisitor. We will do this correctly, or not at all.
You're Eisenhorn?
Having escaped from the boarding party, I found myself underneath the airlock. Too many enemies to take on at once. I would have to employ stealth to get back to Maxilla.
Spread out. Don't let him escape.
Finding my path blocked, I used my will on an unsuspecting foe.
What have I done?
The clamps had to be disabled.
Alpha 1, come in. What's going on?
Alpha 1 to command. All clear.
Come out, Eisenhorn. There's nowhere to run.
Alpha 2, come in. What's your status?
Alpha 2 to command. No sighting.
Stay alert. He's here somewhere.
You've made a huge mistake.
Be still.
Bravo 1, come in. Head to the bridge. We need to take control of this ship. Ready up, men. I'm not leaving till the Inquisitor is dead.
There was no way past the guards. I would have to tackle them head on.
Found you.
You're a mess. What the hell happened?
This wasn't an inspection. They were looking for me.
Naval security?
I don't think so. They lacked precision and didn't know procedure.
So my bare facts are revealed to you after all, Inquisitor.
What can I do to help you, Tobias?
I have summoned servitors to assist me. I'll be back on my feet soon enough.
I need access to your astropathic link. I need to contact Battlefleet Command and speed the closure of this matter. These men weren't a naval security detail.
Die, scum!
Give it up, Eisenhorn.
Be gone,
Deserters, sir.
Deserters?
From the guard levies. You are aware a founding is presently underway on Gudrun. By order of the Lord Militant Commander, 750,000 men are being inducted into the Imperial Guard to form the 50th Gudrunite Rifles. Such is the size of the founding, and the fact that this is notably the 50th regiment assembled from this illustrious world, that planet-wide celebrations are taking place.
And these men deserted?
The muster was originally to have been 500,000, but the Lord Militant Commander increased the figure a week prior to the founding. He's preparing for a crusade into the Ophidian subsector, and well, many found themselves conscripted with little notice. Between you and me, the great festivities are partly an attempt to draw attention from the matter. There's been some rioting in barracks in the founding area, and desertion.
These are regular draftees? Infantrymen?
Yes.
Who could fly a pinnace?
The ringleader, one John O'Lingard, was a qualified orbital pilot. Worked on the ferries, as I said, a regrettable combination of events.
What about the demand for the inspection?
That came from the pinnace itself. Entirely unofficial, they spotted your ship and improvised.
I don't know who these men are. They may indeed have been guard draftees, but someone set them on this course to find me. Someone who covered their movements, provided materials and transport, and authenticated their business with this ship. Someone either in the battle fleet, or with an outrageous amount of access to its workings. No other explanation fits.
You're talking of a conspiracy?
I'm no stranger to underhand behavior, Madolthine. Nor am I unduly perturbed by attempts on my life, but this shows me my enemies are even more powerful than I suspected.
My lord, I
trust this matter is still held in the highest confidence.
Sir, yes, sir. The Lord Procurator recognized its delicacy. The details of this incident are known only to myself and my squad here, the Lord Procurator and his senior aides.
Then I'd like to keep it that way. I'd like my enemies to believe for as long as possible that this assassination attempt was successful. Can I rely on your cooperation, Prosecutor?
Of course, Inquisitor.
We left the Essene on the gun cutter bound for Gudrun's surface. Posing as a trade delegation from Samotar, we would meet with the Guild Synesius representative in Dorsey, the planet's northern capital. The ship which transported Eiclone to Hubris was docked in the festive capital, and according to Maxilla, its master, Efried Tanokbre, was planetside. Betancourt went off to investigate, leaving us to our rendezvous with the Guild Synesius representative at the Dorsey Regency.